Rello on it.
Hello, everybody. If you guys like the freaking music, please be sure to check out my man L Rello. He makes amazing beats, and I've been following him since 2011. And most of his sounds that I've leased, and this is one of his older ones, and it's one of my favorites because it's very jazzy. But welcome, like I said, guys, welcome to the interview. Tonight we have my man, Mr. Bennet, with 2 T's. I'm so sorry, I forgot to. I'm so sorry, I forgot to put the T in there. So I do apologize for that. Let's turn this down a little bit. But like I said today we're here to. It's more so a matter of questions for Mr. Bennet because I want to know what he's about. You know, what he prides himself on, and you know what he lives by, and also we're gonna have a talk about actual marriage. You know, and he's going to be the one to actually educate me and you guys on what his marriage life is like, and also with the trials and tribulations he went through. Because as Mr. Bennet knows, I'm an advocate of marriage. You know, I believe in marriage. I don't believe in just not being married. That's just not possible for me. I think marriage is important, and I think it's what I seek in 5 years from now, definitely. But you know, you guys enjoy the show. And we're going to get right into it. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to all you guys in the comments. Salute. Didn't know Mr. Bennet was a geek. Leave him alone. Hey, listen, man. I got glasses too. And, hey, man, forget geek, man. He's a genius. What are you talking about? Glasses are a style. Even I got them. I don't have them on right now. Actually, I can get them right on top of the dresser right here. But Mr. Bennet, thank you for joining us today. I really
pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine. Thanks for having me.
And I want to take a shout out to you for always being on Black Men Unfiltered streams. Mm-hmm. I'm always so curious to what you have to say, and you really be spitting really good knowledge, and I take that knowledge with me because I'm always under the impression I might be missing something or something. There's something that I don't know, so that I can reflect upon and let it marinate in my head to better use it to better further myself. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think self-reflection and self-improvement are important. And I think you really show how like you're confident, but also you humble yourself, but to hear others, but also not, but you don't step down and you have a backbone, which I think is a perfect combination of how a man should walk. But also, like I said, be willing to hear others too. Right. Like I said, it's just like you know how cats in their 40s, I've always said, nah, man, I think they're set in stone. They're not going to change, but they're always willing to hear the people out sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. But so I think the first question, I would like for you to introduce yourself, and also, you know, what are some hobbies you have?
Hobbies? Okay. Well, let me just start on the background. Born and raised in New Jersey. I am the youngest of 5. I come from a somewhat dysfunctional family. You figure my mother was a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, and my father, he was a heavy, massive drinker. So there was a lot of dysfunction in my home, and I wasn't the guy who was supposed to be here. My brother is 6.5 years older than me, and so I was the accident. My parents were like, we weren't expecting you. But it's interesting how that turned around, is because towards, you know, when they started to get ill, when they got into their later years, I was the one who took care of them. So, you know, so it's like, you know, so I don't believe in that there's any accidents. But, you know, certainly I think God had me here for a purpose, and that was certainly to be there to, you know, take care of my family and be a leader. Even though I'm the youngest, you know, I had to be a leader in my family at certain times. So again, didn't necessarily grow up with much, you know, so I know, you know, food stamps, the whole line, you know, growing up in poverty, growing up homeless at times. But, you know, certainly I started living with my dad at 13. Going on 14, and that was a game changer for me, because even though he had his issues, it was still the masculine energy that I was lacking. You know, when I was with my mother, being raised by my mom, definitely I ran off of emotions, and so I was very emotional. I would cry very easily. You know, I just had a lot of things going on, and but with my father and then my brother came to live with us as well. So it was just us men, and just being around that masculine energy really, you know, had a positive impact in terms of, you know, helping to grow me, just being around that energy. So, you know, so I'm definitely an advocate of, you know, it's so important that men be involved, even if they may not be perfect, but the fact that they're in your life, you need to have men around to certainly guide you in certain things, and how to temper your emotions, and how to be about doing things not out of your feelings, but doing them because of responsibility. One thing my dad always was, he was always responsible. I mean, he would, you know, put himself in situations, but he never missed a day of work ever. And that was just something that always just stuck with me. So I got my work ethic from my dad, but my mom, certainly she was a very empathetic person. I got that from her as well, even though she had those kind of issues. So again, born and raised in Jersey, graduate of Rutgers University. I was a computer science major. I work in the IT field now. My side hustle, I'm a personal trainer on the side, but I've been married. This will be March 29th, 26 years. Been married. I got 3 daughters. All of them are in college, and you know, so things are good right now. But as far as my hobbies, certainly I love, you know, working out. Even though I don't work out often, but I work out very intensely. So working out is a major part of my life. I'm big. I'm a huge sports fan. I am a New York Yankees, Boston Celtic, and Pittsburgh Steelers fan my whole life, since the 70s. I mean, since when Larry Bird came into the league. In fact, I have a Larry Bird jersey. So when he came to the league in '81, I was a Larry Bird fan, because like me, I couldn't run and I couldn't jump very well. So when I saw this guy coming in and dominating the game, you know, not having those skills, I thought, okay, there's some hope for me. So huge sports fan. I grew up a kaiju fan. I saw, you know, just looking at some of your old stuff, I know you're into like anime and a lot of the Japanese stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I grew up a huge kaiju monster fan. So I'm a huge I can have every Godzilla film that's been made. I'm huge into the martial arts genres growing up. So all the Bruce Lee movies, Jet Li, you know, Jackie Chan, you know, a lot of genres. So I'm always into that. And you know, so those are like my main hot ones. Outside of that, you know, I like to travel. You know, travel with the wife, spending time with the wife. Now that we're almost empty nesters, my youngest one is 19. But I love you know, hanging out with the wife, going out on those date nights and whatnot. So you know, so yeah. So outside of that, it's you know, life is pretty good right now.
All right, sir. Thank you. And that was perfectly well executed, by the way. There wasn't a hesitation in his voice. I actually plan on talking exactly like that with no foul ups. Yeah, man, that's a craft. And also, I will say this. I know you're a Celtics fan, and I'm gonna be real with you. I have no hatred towards your team. I don't.
Right.
Which is really funny. Because I'm a Miami Heat fan, I find that very funny. And it's like there is a rivalry there, but I'm not angry. I'm not angry at your team at all. Like right now, how good you? I'll be honest. I think you guys actually might get back. I think you're definitely going to the finals personally.
Right.
If y'all can get past Giannis and what's the other team?
Well, Brooklyn is playing very well right now. So I mean, I didn't think they'd be able to pull it together the way they would
last year. Then I'm like, I think you're gonna go again. My team, I'm not even talking about them, bro, because they're not even good this year. Not at all. I'm actually, you know what? I would like to see the Grizzlies versus the Celtics this year. I actually like to see that because I love John Morant.
He's a beast.
I like another Allen Iverson, probably maybe a little.
Well, he's Allen with more athleticism. I mean, Allen can barely dunk the basketball, but this guy, a friend sent me a video last week. He dunked over this guy. Just went in the lane. His athleticism is crazy. So.
I'm like, yo, Jar. I'm like, yo, like he's actually I actually had like a spark in love for cats that play like him.
Yeah. Well, he was my first round pick coming out because I remember him and Zion were in the same draft, and so everyone was on the Zion bandwagon, and I said no. After seeing him in the tournament, I said no. That's the guy. All right, you got to go with John Morant, and so to this day, I go back and forth. The guy, he's a big Zion fan. And even though he's finally starting to play better right now, but even he has to admit, it's like, yeah, you call that one with John. That's the one you should have went with.
That's crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. They turn that off. But I will say this. Like I said, I think your Celtics are gonna go back again. And I'll be honest, if they go to state now, they would stop them in my mind because there's nothing there left. I'm thinking that team is done personally for me. I don't think they can beat them.
We'll see when we'll see when the playoffs come. I mean, I think that drama that they had early on.
I will actually go for your team. If your team do it, I will go for the Celtics. That is.
Yeah. I can see that.
Now, if it's John Morant, that's hard because I kind of want John to get a W, but he doesn't have any weapon. I mean, besides him and a couple other two players, I'm talking about like your team is like stacked.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can overcome that unless there was like a freaking Kevin Durant on there to neutralize it. But
right.
So I think y'all will win that one really, not very easily. It still be tough, but y'all will win that.
Gotcha.
I actually see, like I said, I see you coming on top this year.
Well, to have it.
But wait a minute, shout out to Jason Tatum for putting up numbers. Anybody out there who's a Celtics fan, quote unquote, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all doing good this year. This is y'all year. Last year was our year, and we fumbled the bag. So I ain't gonna be. I'm mad, but I'm mad. But I will say this: if he did sink the shot, that would have been Jason Tatum would have been scared because he said, "I got scared when this man been trying to do it 3." I was like, no. but like I said, that was your team did really good at pushing us. And I know there are 2 games my team wasn't good at, but Jimmy Butler literally had a LeBron James moment in game 6.
Right.
So I did love that he did turn that around. I did love that, which also it did prove the point, regardless of anything, that he did need another person next to him.
That is true.
Because LeBron didn't do it by himself. He had like 4 stars. I'm not gonna say 4. He has like 3 stars on that team. Chris Bosh, freaking Dwayne Wade, and like freaking you want to be technical Ray Allen and shit. Like no.
Right.
He had like a lot of cats.
Plus, he had those OGs like Adonis Haslem on there too.
Adonis Haslem, I was still like Adonis Haslem because he's like an OG that.
Exactly.
Like technically, he's a better Draymond Green. I'll say that. I hate Draymond Green. He's full of BS. But I'm glad we got into some sports talk a little bit because I like to know what your mom was looking at. Now, okay, in terms of football, I don't have a team anymore. Because I'm kind of just hoping that these teams get better every year. I tell people, like I said, I'm a former Patriots fan.
Okay.
I'm kind of like done. And the reason, well, not because he left. It was just like, well, we did 5 championships. I got nothing to feel bad for.
Yeah.
One team has managed to win 5 in my lifetime. I don't have to feel bad about anything.
Right.
I'm good. He said, so what? Dallas Mavericks had only 1 star player and succeeded even against. Yeah, Wally. We'll get to that later. We got 4 stuff to do over here.
Right.
But Mr. Bennet, I'm glad you're a sports fan. And I don't know if you knew. I know you're may not be a hockey fan, but there are some black hockey players out there that you might want to check out.
Yeah. I just watched the Pivot podcast, and they had that the guy Suppan. who I think
yeah,
he just retired recently. So, that was insightful there. It's where I only get into hockey around Olympic time, just the Olympics in general. Like, I'll be watching curling in the Olympics just because it's the Olympics, the stage, the atmosphere and whatnot. So when Team USA is playing Team Canada, that's like everything stops at that point.
Exactly.
And so I'm always interested. Again, Devils. Certainly in New Jersey. When the Devils are playing well, which they are now. So that always kind of raises the I may tune in and watch a little bit, especially when it comes to playoffs. Again, playoff hockey, I can also get into Devils playing the Rangers or whatever, or the Islanders. So that's always those
are always good.
Well.
And
I just don't follow the sport consistently. On one sport that I did not mention that I'm also huge into, I'm a huge boxing fan. Like out of all the sports, probably professional boxing as an individual sport is probably my favorite one. And then probably followed by professional football. But yeah, lifetime boxing fan, and I still follow the game very closely to this day.
Okay. I used to watch old boxing videos with my dad, and I saw a couple of Mike Tyson ones when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't alive when Muhammad Ali was alive. That was not happening.
Right. Yeah. Same. Yeah. Exactly. By the time I got interested in it, he was already past his prime.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I would have loved to watch like the old videos of that. Definitely. Like, those, man. Give me some of them. Like, I could watch what he was doing and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like Mike Tyson and a couple other guys.
Yeah.
Buster Douglas. Yeah. That was
well, he came that came out of nowhere. I mean, we didn't, Buster kind of, he was a huge underdog in that fight, he had lost previously, like Tony Tucker and whatnot. So he wasn't no one considered him to be a major contender. But just Tyson, he did too much partying in Japan and didn't take the fight seriously and got himself knocked out.
Yeah. Then I told him, I said, look at the fight. He didn't even come close. I said, what are you talking about when they bring that up? And I'm like,
we knew from the first round, we knew something was off. Like I was in a big room where we had Rutgers watching that fight. We were in a big hall watching it, and first round, we like something's off. Like we just didn't feel the energy that we usually get from the Mike Tyson fight. We just knew something was off, and it's like this isn't going to go well.
Yeah, he comes in with that energy. When I was younger, I really was like, he had this forward to him. Like, he would just come in, like, just ready to mess you up.
Exactly.
And it's just, like, that time, and when I watched it with my dad when I was younger, I was like, huh? He just looks weird. And then we watched it again when I was older. I was like, yo, I know why he was up there.
Yeah. He wasn't, he just wasn't in it. Yeah.
Right. And one of the things I can say about boxing, like I said, I do need to get back into it because it has been a while. I used to take boxing. I used to take shadow boxing, things like that in middle school.
Right.
After class, I would take those. And then we get in the ring, we would bob and weave. And then we would do shadow boxing, and then we would do kind of like sparring.
Yeah.
Like, we do all that, like conditioning stuff.
It's a great workout. I mean, it's definitely.
I did it for a year, but I didn't. I guess I didn't keep up with it because I was doing other things too. But I needed to do that every once in a while because it was a good way to relieve tension and stress and things like that. And I had an anger problem, so I needed to aim it towards something, and that was one of the things that I did. So boxing, I'm not going to underrate boxing. Boxing's good. I just need to get back into it again. Right. I watch UFC now. Recently, I got back in it. Recently, I got into UFC. And look up all these freaking fighters, who's freaking active and who's good and who's bad.
Yeah, UFC. I'm not as like I always ask guys because I know a lot of UFC fans, and again, I'll watch it, okay, but I'll ask guys, it's like, can you remember like a great UFC fight that you go back and that you actually remember? And a lot of times they can't, but people, they remember Ali Frazier, or they remember Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns or Marvin Hagler. Like, you can almost go back and replay the fight in your mind. And it's like a lot of times with UFC, it's like you don't have those great cards. Oh, that was a great fight. I got to watch this 20 times or what have you. Like, so boxing kind of has this romanticism to it. Even Mike Tyson, when he knocked out Michael Spinks in the first round, you still remember the fight. But I don't get that same kind of buzz with UFC. It's like you have it, okay, UFC 255 or 260 or whatever, then it's over, then you wait for the next one. You don't even remember who fought prior to that. So there's something like that. But I appreciate Dana for at least putting the fights that people want to see into the octagon, so I can appreciate that. Boxing, unfortunately, it gets too much in its own way because guys want to manipulate who they're fighting and they want to push off fights that we should be watching because of money or contract, or I need to be the A side and you need to be the B side. And so Boxing,
Yeah, like
it's too many sharks in the water, so that we can see like the top guys in their prime fighting each other. So boxing has this issue in terms of it won't get out of its way, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because like I said, like what was that? It could be was that no, that's UFC. I'm talking about more of Floyd, Conor McGregor and Floyd. I said, why the hell would you guys watch that?
Yeah, I didn't buy it. Well, I actually got off of Floyd a while earlier. Like I stopped buying. I had a big fight party. I used to host a lot of fight parties back in the day. I had the Manny Pacquiao Floyd fight at my house. About 30 brothers over here.
Pacquiao, yeah, I know him.
And it was the worst. You know, I mean, it's like we waited. First of all, the fight was 5 years too late. It should have happened 5 years earlier.
Earlier.
It didn't.
Yeah, when he was
and by the time they did it, I mean, all that money. I mean, Floyd made like $300 million that night. But this is the product. So I was like, you know what? I may watch your fight, but I'm not supporting your product. So I was already off the Floyd Mayweather bandwagon because he was always picking guys off. Again, never in their prime, but always when it was opportunistic. And so we never really got certainly since he moved up to welterweight, we never really got prime versus prime. And so I just made a decision, like, I'm just not going to be, like the fans have to demand better. No, we're not just because you're going to put this guy on and you're going to want pay-per-view money. I'm saying, no, you have to do better. Show us the fights that we want to see and I'll fill my house up. Because I got a lot of brothers, like, look, they love the fights. We order pizza and it'd just be like the whole night and we just be hanging out. So until those days come back, like in the 90s, when those days come back, then we'll come back to it. But for now, cats aren't looking to fork over $100 for subpar performances.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, as much as I love the Rocky movies, like I want like a freaking type of like what I want is like a freaking Rocky versus Drago type fight. Like if you can give me something like that, then and if I was actually standing there, forget sitting in the home. If I was just there, I'd be like, this is freaking entertaining, yo. Because
if you want that, go back and watch those. If you ever watch a fight of Arturo Gatti, watch him versus Mickey Ward in the trilogies with those guys. There's your Rocky right there in real time. You watch those fights; it's unbelievable what those guys did, and they weren't even fighting for a major title. These were just guys who were just like, they were just very entertaining, left it all in the ring type of fighters or whatnot. But if you want that kind of action, the Gotti Ward trilogy, that'll, you won't be sorry.
I just bookmarked it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I need to watch that because, like I said, the real reason why we love Rocky movies because there's a lot of realism in it, but also I ain't gonna lie. That cat took hits to the face that he shouldn't be able to stand up from. With that
that's Gotti right there.
Yeah,
that'll be Gotti right there.
I like it, but at the same time, I'm like, nah, bro, I don't care. You can't listen. I don't care what training you do. Your face don't get muscles. Like you don't get better like taking hits to the face.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not like if it was your leg, then you get and it gets better. Like it's not tougher now.
That's true.
He doesn't do that. So that's why I said, like, bro, he should have like a hole in his brain.
Yeah.
At least by the time he gets old and they examine brains, when they find out with boxers that they literally have holes in their brain.
Oh yeah, I mean CTE. You mean that concussion? That's a real thing in boxing also. I mean, a lot of the emphasis has been on football, but boxing, you need to take a look at that too. Punch drunk, they used to call it then. But they need to change it. Definitely that CTE. It's a real thing.
I got you, Mr. Bennett. Now, Mr. Bennett, before I ask you another question, do you have any questions for me specifically that you want to know?
No, I'm good. Like I said, I like how you seem like you're definitely into movies. I'm a Marvel fan. I wouldn't say I'm deep into it. Like I grew up with the Marvel and the superheroes and things of that nature. There used to be a comic used to come out called the Marvel Universe.
Oh, the Marvel Universe. Okay.
And that was like my Cliff's Notes version, so I can keep up. So I know a lot on a Kurzweil level. I can talk Marvel for about an hour with almost anybody. Okay. But the guys, if you read all the comics and all the series and the backdrop to everything, you may lose me after an hour. But the MCU, I'm pretty tuned into, but it's getting harder now because now you got to watch the Disney Network and watch those shows and everything.
That's what.
Yeah, so there's a lot of layers that you gotta tune in.
Now I will say this: I think if you haven't watched Moon Knight, I think Moon Knight was one of the better ones because I actually went in thinking I wasn't gonna like that, and I liked it.
Yeah, and I heard it wasn't panned. It was panned. It wasn't highly reviewed too well. But yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
man,
had good reviews on it. The thing is, because I think it was like something, was 6, 8 episodes. It was really short, but what they gave us with when they tackled the associative identity disorder, how it actually is done well in this series. I actually like it's done well. Like the goal, at least without spoiling you, was not getting rid of the personality but accepting it.
Okay.
And that's never been done in movies. It's just they get rid of it, and then it's just like, okay, he's gone.
Right.
Or like, accept what it is, and then you're one or whatever. But with this, I like this. Like, no, like I can't live without the other personality. But I was surprised they actually showed what a young man can go through. And even though his father was there with them, he didn't really protect them all that much.
Oh, okay.
And, from the mom.
Right.
And then when I saw that, I was like, okay, you guys are. Thank you for not always doing the like just happens to little girls. Like this happens to little boys too, and it can warp them and shape them differently. But like how it was done and like how they catered to the character. Which, by the way, Wally, you need to finish that shit so you can do it on your RBI show. But no, he needs to because he needs to finish that. Maybe get a chance. But how the costume looks, how he talks, how he gets his abilities. And I'll be honest, he's looking way cooler than Batman for me with that outfit.
Okay.
That outfit looks so cool. I love it. But like with Marvel, it's been a long journey since I ain't gonna lie. The first Iron Man came out in 2008 when I was like in high school.
Yeah.
I was a junior. I think I was a junior because I graduated in 2009.
Right.
In high school, and that's when the first Iron Man dropped. And of course, Incredible Hulk came out at the time, which I liked that movie.
Right.
Because that was the Hulk.
Right.
And like the design detail, everything, like okay, the movies are starting to get better. I really love the Iron Man one because I watched that too many times.
Right.
But what I did like was that they turned a B type character like Iron Man to an A-lister.
Yeah.
I like that they did that and actually show what he went through and you see how that suit looked on screen. I was like, yo, that looks so cool. And one of my friends, he's a Iron Man fanatic. He loves it. Like he's I'll be honest, one of the most intelligent brothers I am been privileged and had the grace of graduating college with is an educated brother who knows the nursing field, who knows the pharmacy field. He could easily be a doctor if he wanted to. He said it's a lot of work. I don't want to do it, but he can easily do it with like how he knows stuff, how he studies. He said like, bro, I want to make a freaking armor like that motherfucker. That's what he told me.
Right.
What We Know podcast. Thanks for being here, brother. That's what's up. And I think the thing that I liked, I think when I grew up, because I'm I'm a '90s kid. I'm a '90s baby. 91, and all the old like cartoons, like old SWAT Cats, things like those. Like I saw my friend Centurions, The Impossibles, all that, like all those series. I didn't know some of those series were comic books, and also I didn't know I knew what Superman and all them were, but they were never like Marvel his stuff out. It was more like Super Friends, things like that. Wonder Twin Powers activation. Like I remember that shit.
That was my generation for sure.
Yeah, I remember that because I was a little kid at that time when Boomerang was out. And they had like all the stuff like Yogi Bear, Wacky Races, all that. Stuff.
Yeah.
And I told everybody, listen.
Right.
I will watch. I told everybody if I ever had kids and it's a Saturday and I got a day off, I'm gonna watch those cartoons with my kids. All right, that's my freaking childhood. I'll watch that with them. I watch Tom and Jerry. I watch Adam Ant with them.
Tom and Jerry. Oh wow.
Yeah. And dude, like to this day, I still laugh at that. Like that's honestly, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it's therapeutic to laugh. To be honest, because it's hilarious.
Facts.
But I think with Marvel, it just catered to you because like the girls had their things, but you have our thing, which is like these superhero dudes.
Right.
Apes and outfits, and you want to be like them, like Batman show, the Batman animated series, which is one of my favorites. Even Batman Beyond series, I love that too. The Superman animated series, like you said, they had a lot of series out there that were good when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
I used to watch them, but my favorite one is Static Shock because that's the first black superhero on freaking screen that I saw, besides Hal Jordan in Green Lantern.
Right.
But he was a teenager. He had electric abilities. The motherfucker's in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And funny enough, one of my friends is from Dakota, which I thought funny. I'm like, okay, and I said like, and this is what I told him. You wouldn't happen that I got hit by some purple toxic fumes? Fumes? Did you? He said, nah, nah. I mean, he said like, bro, I wanted some fucking Static Shock powers, bro. But that's one of my favorites, just because you can relate to him more when you're younger. I always tell people, you know when you wanted to get when a good show was coming on, you would do your homework in school, show you get home, show your mom like I did it all. It's right. All right, go. I gotta watch some freaking Super Friends kid. Like I gotta watch.
Got you.
Because I would always do my homework just so I can watch that.
There you go.
That was motivation to get my homework
done.
And also, of course, if your mom and dad got you a new system or something like that, but it was more than that. It was just because I wanted to watch that show, man. I want to miss that. But but like I always tell people, you haul ass when there's one of your favorite shows is coming on. Like, let's get home quickly, bro. This shit started at like 3:30 or 4, so hurry up. I gotta watch Johnny Quest, like the new version and things like that, like all that. So so like growing up with Godzilla and things like that, like those are all part of my childhood. They even had the Men in Black cartoon that nobody even talks about. Yeah, I remember that, and I forgot they even had a show.
Right.
Well, and I'm like, wait, is Will Smith in that, bro? Is he voice acting? I was like, I don't think he is. Like, that's somebody else, bro. If he was acting that, then I'm like, I'm definitely watching that show.
Right.
But but sir, I'm like, I think all that stuff, I think it's really good nostalgia to remember and stuff that you want to pass on to your kids. Right. Because it's like, listen, y'all younger than me, y'all got a head start on me. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't know that was out when I was younger. Right. I've seen enough old school stuff to be in a conversation with any like 90s babe, to be honest. But there's still a couple of things that I did I get a chance to watch. And I'm talking about like even though old live action things that came out. What Good Times? What besides Family Matters? You got to exclude Family Matters because I think that's all we grew up on, like Full House and all that stuff. But but it is what it is. There. Yeah, true. It's a good. I'll be honest. It's a good personal time for me to do stuff like that on my own time. Whatever minutes I get to myself because I'm always working and studying and stuff. Yeah. It's good to do that. Just like I just get like a nostalgia moment in my head. I'm like, damn, this is a good time. Damn. Yeah. And I was like, I realized why kids don't want to grow up, so they get to keep watching this shit. True. But I'm like, you got to grow up. But sir, thank you so much for bringing that up. I think, guys, we covered your nostalgia, and we just covered a little bit of what everybody likes to watch at a period of time when they were born, and it makes them feel good. Like, and actually, I'll be honest, it might motivate you to want to make something like that too. Because when I first started, I'm like, I should be an animator, like Walt Disney and shit. And then, like, my dad told me, he said, all right, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do it. And I mean, not exactly, but you're going to have to put in the work, son. Yeah. What Walt Disney did, with all your Mickey Mouse and all that stuff you saw his anime movies, that's work. Yeah. The old school cats, they actually had to put in work. They didn't have the luxury of having the technology that we have now. Right. VHS was still out when he told me this. Yeah. It's like, well, the Baymax, and then you have VHS, and you have Blu-ray after very soon in the 2000s. Right. He just told me, like, you like to draw? Keep practicing. Yep. That's what I did. Drawer, growing up, that was a big pastime of mine also. I used to love to draw. All the kaiju monsters, Godzilla, Rodan, Ghidorah, all that. I would have catalogs full of drawings or whatnot. I was big. I was really big. Godzilla fan too. I love that you're a Godzilla fan. Yeah. I love because they actually came out with a game for the GameCube was Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla. Right. Addictively, because you could use Godzilla 90s, Godzilla 2000. I'm sorry, bro. I love the 90s. I mean, they had Mega Godzilla, Rodan, Destroyer. Yep. Oh man, dude, that and what King Ghidorah. Mega King Ghidorah, like bro, they had like the whole stack of players. Absolutely. Listen, nothing but Godzilla and freaking I used King Ghidorah a couple of times, but I would use Godzilla, 90s and 2000s. And then I would use Mega Godzilla every once in a while because he had the freaking laser out. Yeah. That's how I would use that. And like, and I tell everybody, when you're a kid, listen, if it look cool to you, you don't care. You'll use whoever. If it looks cool. That's it. That's all. That was my thing as a kid. Like if it looked cool to me, I would definitely do it.
Gotcha.
But thank you guys for going on a nostalgia trip with us. All right, Mr. Bennet. I think I am excited actually because you remember going through my memories right now. I'm like,
I got you. Take your time.
But no, that's good though. But Mr. Bennet, I will ask you this, sir. Before we get into our marriage conversation and the real topic here, because I'm glad we got a chance to like food and things like that. So I would say this, sir. What type of things do you eat particularly? But like when you're like because I know like when you work out you try to eat healthy,
right?
Or is it? Let me ask you: does your wife prepare your meals, or do you prepare it yourself? Because you think you know what you're going to intake today.
It's a split. I mean, she usually does breakfast stuff. I usually take care of like dinner items because I'm a one. I typically eat like one main item, so I'm not like big into like casserole dishes or whatnot unless I'm on a weekend or something where I'm splurging a little bit. But my diet is basically a high protein, high fats, low to moderate carbs, and most of my carbs are going to come from fruits and vegetables. So I wouldn't call it keto, or I wouldn't call it primal or what have you, but I definitely keep the carbs down when I don't need them. Carbs on a workout day, training day, I up my carbs. On a non-trading day, it's basically protein. So chicken, beef, fish, whatever, legumes, fruits and vegetables, always nuts. But again, I may have like a half a cup of rice, brown rice, or a quarter cup of brown rice. And that's basically it. Now, Saturday, I eat everything I want. I have what's called like an 80% rule. Eat clean 80% of the time. So for me, that gives me about 73 days a year to eat whatever I want. So Saturday is typically the day I just go off. Whatever I want to eat. Now, that doesn't mean I binge, but I eat whatever I want. If my wife and I go out to dinner, I'm not worried what's on the menu. I just eat whatever's whatever I have, but it's not like I have to stuff myself with it. And in fact, doing that makes me appreciate the splurging that I do more. So if I have that piece of cake or whatever, I love tiramisu. When I have it, I just have it. And I don't have to have a whole cake plate full of it, but a slice here and there and I'm good. So that's generally a lot of dark green leafy stuff, kale, collard greens. I try to get the full spectrum of fruits and veggies in there. Like I said, almonds, raw almonds in the morning, a lot of high fiber stuff. But again, not too many carbs, so not too many pastas. Unless it's a weekend. If it's a weekend, let's go to the Italian restaurant and let's have what's there. That's generally how I do it. But protein is the first. If I was going to use like one of those 3-section plates, protein is the first thing I'm going to put on my plate always. Then I build around that depending on what my activity level is. If I know I'm going to work out, I add a little bit more carb on there. If I'm not going to work out, it's one of my just recovery days or whatever, then it's going to be a little more fat, a little more fruits and veggies, fruits or vegetables going to be on there, some beans, and that's basically it. So I don't, and I eat, I generally try to eat 4 to 5 times a day. I use protein shakes. I'll supplement. I love making smoothie. I got one of those immersion stem blenders. So I'm always making a shake every day. It's like, 50 grams of whey isolate. And I'll put anything in it, chocolate, fruits, bananas, whatever it is. I make a different smoothie every day. And so I'll supplement my meals with the shakes. And that's basically it. But, a typical dinner for me, the one thing I can't live without is my George Foreman grill. That's like number one. So George Foreman,
I got a George Foreman
grill. Chicken, some salmon, a steak with some veggies, some steamed broccoli or whatever, and I'm good to go.
I got you. So one of the things that I'll do a brief quick of mine. So like for breakfast, like I said, it does depend. Like I said, so like since I work like all this week a little bit and I have like one day off. So what I normally do is I'll get up really early. I'll cook something. Either I'll have eggs and a slice of tomatoes with those.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fruits in it. Like I said, that's a fruit technically.
Yep. Yep.
Those are fruits, and I love tomatoes, green or red. Because like my uncle got me on green tomatoes. I love the shits. Ain't gonna lie.
Nice.
But yeah, they're really good. So I'll cut like two to three slices of the tomato, then I'll cook 3 eggs, and make them scrambled. I'll eat them. Actually, guys, I actually do eat my eggs sometimes plain every now and then. I do, but I do put like either adobo seasoning in there because I'm not doing that too much, like a little bit, but not too much. And I do the same thing with my boneless chicken breast too. But so it's either that or some eggs, or I'll do like a bowl of oatmeal is what it will be, and either that or I'll take a thing of granola. Those are my three options. So it's not, I'm not limited to two. I'm limited to three. You have to call me back later, bro. But I don't know. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
I don't know why that's playing. But yeah, guys, it'll be those three options that I have. And it rotates. So more often than not, the eggs I'll have during when I have when I want to get up early and go to the gym. Besides during the afternoon, because like I said, I have a day off. I get to do my workout early. So what I'll do is I won't eat till I get back. I won't have breakfast until I get back. I'll go to the gym, have a bottle of water with me. I'll burn all the stuff that I ate last night. Literally burn it to the point where it's like okay, my stomach is a little sore. All right, now I'm good now. But why the hell am I still going? So sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, I'll do like an really intense workout, and then after that, I'll drink like probably about half of this freaking water bottle. And then after that, I'll you go home. I'll wait like an hour or something, and then after that, I'll start cooking, eat, and then start eating.
Yeah,
because
it's kind of hard for me too to eat like right after a workout. I'll take my like post workout aminos or something like that, but I just can't like get into a meal. I'm still kind of coming down. So food isn't necessarily the thing I'm.
People say you have to eat something that. If that's the case, then you drink a smoothie, then you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So if you need to, so just get a smoothie. And I go to Smoothie King, and I tell them specifically make me an all strawberry or banana one, just so I can get all the protein and put the protein in there. And then I'm good. Like that'll recover your arms.
Right.
Like, really, from being sore. It actually makes them less sore the next day.
Yeah.
They're sore, but they're not nearly as sore as they were the intense you did.
Right.
But so I'll do that, and then after that I'll eat breakfast, and then after that I'll do a little. Okay, guys, you shouldn't do this, but I do this. So I do a lot of. So I do squats. I do planks after that because I want to burn that off.
Yeah.
Even more too. So I can distribute it throughout my entire body. And then after that, I'll rest up, do all the activities I need to do throughout the day, and then before dinner comes around, like I said, some jumping jacks, and then jumping jacks and some other little things, and then after that, I'll actually eat something, and that'll be the end of it.
Gotcha.
My day. And now for dinner, I do want to tell people this real quick. So salmon, yes, you gotta bake, not fried, of course not. And of course I have like either a Caesar salad with cut up boneless chicken breast.
Nice.
With a seasoned with adobo and pepper, simple enough. Like not seasoned salt. I don't use that shit.
Right.
My mom used that shit way too much all the time. That's why I cook my own food. Yeah. But whenever I visit, because it's my place. But so like I said, so those two, and then also guys, I also like to do rice and tomatoes are good when you mix it together. It's really, really good. White rice, not dirty rice or anything like that. I usually eat it straight. So I ate those, and also but you can also mix it. You can also mix white rice with green beans, and you got something right there too.
Sure.
And I know there's some other ones that I'm meaning to add it to my repertoire, but the ones that I've been eating so far been doing good for me. So I'm just more used to that.
Right.
Now every once in a while I'll have a burger, but I'll cook it myself.
Oh yeah.
Foreman grill.
Yeah.
I got that, and I'll make my own burgers every once in a blue moon. Like I can have this today.
Right.
I'm not going if I'm doing a intense workout or something, and I'll cook shit.
Yeah.
I'll cook shit more often than not. Listen, no fries, none of that shit. It's going to be just either that and some green beans with me.
Right.
What it is.
I'll have the fries on the weekend though. Like I said, that one day, that Saturday, the fries.
Yeah, that one day I might have them fries.
But during the week, no fries.
With the fries, I ain't gonna lie. Like, cause I go lie, say, Jay, you eat no fries? I'm like, yeah, but not every day. It's gonna be maybe one time a month to try that. Because I ain't gonna lie, them chicken fries or them barbecue fries, I'm like, yo, like out the freezer and the freaking things. Like I'll cook them myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like my meal plan right there.
You got an air fryer?
Do
you have an air fryer?
Yes.
That's life too. That's my second. So the first thing, I can't live without my George Foreman. The next thing would be the air fryer. I gotta have my air fryer.
Yeah, because he said like you gotta learn how to use this, and I'm like, I don't want to, but I need to for some of these things because I'm so used to baking stuff because I didn't realize it was just something to do. And then, by the way, a little tip for the boneless chicken breast guys, listen. Olive oil the bottom of your freaking chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Well, why? They don't fucking stick to your damn aluminum foil. and also, guys, the thing you want to remember is tender and juicy. You don't want it to be dry.
That's right.
Any person that eats their shit straight up dry and it's just tough to eat, I'm sorry. That's not food to me. You've butchered and murdered your food.
Yeah, true that.
So I just wanted to give that tip out to you. And also, Great Pill, thank you for that health and fitness stream that we did because we did talk about what type of food you should eat, and also how to regulate your smoothie period and also your dinner. Because like I said, for me, more often than not, I'm trying to eat maybe one meal a day, but I don't think it's not possible anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just mostly two. I can try to get off.
Gotcha.
Now it's either, like I said, it'll be a bowl of oatmeal. Like tomorrow, I might have one when I get up really early. I'm gonna have a bowl of oatmeal, and then maybe I'll take a thing of granola with me because it's not really. I can eat it as a cereal or a snack, but it's healthy. It's And by the way, it's the what is that? Honey bunch of oats granola.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
I get those. That's really good. So yeah, I'll have that, and then more likely not, I'll do the calisthenics and workout when I get off of work, and then after that, I'll probably cook some salmon and maybe a baked potato.
Gotcha.
No butter. Oh, by the way, guys, I don't use butter on my baked potato anymore. I'm crazy to do that, but I have to.
Dry.
Well, no, I put stuff on it. Don't worry.
What do you put on it?
I actually mush it down, so I don't use adobo. So I actually I don't use salt either, guys. Funny enough, I actually use a freaking particular type of chicken seasoning to go on my potato. Okay. And that shit is good. Once I start crushing and moving it around, it tastes really good.
Gotcha. You eat the skin?
Yes, I do.
Smart.
And the steakhouse made me do that because they realized the skin is not bad. What you cooking? But I've actually seen people eat a potato raw. It's crazy, but I'm like, I can't eat it all like that.
That's a little hardcore for me too.
I'm sorry. I ain't that hardcore. But he said, wait. Oh, here it is. He says, I agree, Grandpa. You have to advance the pot. So milk from cow or goat. Cow, obviously. Add seasonings. He said no butter. Hey man, listen, bro. Listen. You gotta dude. You're not supposed to take so much butter in your body, bro. Like even as much as I like butter toast, I'll be honest. I haven't had butter toast in maybe 3 years. And like butter toast with like the jelly on top because I got that from my father. So what he would do is he would put butter on top of it, and then he just get the spoon and put a little bit of grape jelly on that.
Right. So is it just for you an avoidance of saturated fats? Why off the butter?
I think the reason why is because I don't want to raise my levels too high. But butter definitely goes high, and can't nobody even debate that. That's another reason what cholesterol goes up more often than not is from actual butter, and I didn't know that until I got checked out. What, like a month ago? Was it 2 months ago? Yeah, 2 months ago I got checked out, and they told me your cholesterol is a little high, so you need to bring it down a little bit. And it's like, but I know I had butter when I did that when it was going up, so it was something else. So I had to substitute what I was eating to bring down my level a little bit low.
Gotcha.
So it's at a good place now because I'm about to go get checked. I might two months. I might want to get checked out again to make sure I'm still fine.
Right.
I don't have diabetes. I don't have anything like that.
Right.
Then I'm okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I tell people if you keep chugging down freaking soda, then I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. But stay away from soda or pop. Either way. You want to drink water, and green tea. I recommend to anybody who's a tea person. Green tea is the way to go because it's similar to a detox. It cleans your insides to keep your body healthy. Which is why I'm drinking that like a Japanese man every day. After I eat the oatmeal, I take the tea with me, warm it up in my little canister, and when I get about halfway, when I start to pack my van up, I'm like drinking sips. I'm like, all right, we good. We should be good throughout the day. Like I said, nothing wrong with my stomach. I feel good. But that's enough for the food, y'all, because I'm probably making some of y'all hungry. And if y'all hungry, go to the kitchen and go cook and give us a choice. All right, brother. Our brother, Mr. Bennett. Thank you for telling me what your what your meal plan is like, and also what you do to prepare for that. Because how I'm thinking, and this will tie into our marriage conversation too. I
Okay.
think I would like my lady to know what I how I cook stuff, and if she can like learn that really easily, um, I would like that. I think that would be nice. But also, this is what I would also do. I got a day off. Sweetheart, don't cook shit. This is my
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
I'll cook it because I like cooking personally too,
Yeah.
and I like to give my lady a break from doing all that shit. So that's
Hmm.
why how I would do that in my marriage, whether it be traditional or anything like that, which I would be. I would like to give her a day off so I could just cook for us. And the reason
Absolutely.
why is
Yep.
that way she can look forward to different things, cuisines that I would cook,
Hmm.
and it's more healthy, and it
Right.
is healthy too, because I think cooking is therapeutic for most guys.
Yeah.
And also you know what your wife likes, so you can add stuff to her dish that you probably wouldn't add to yours.
Right.
So it just like I said, just sets the mood perfectly because similar to a date, or more often not just a romantic gathering between you two. And
Yeah.
also like it sets the tone and mood. And I've done that. I've done that for plenty of girls.
Gotcha.
Not every one of them, but a couple of them. And it's just like they like when I do that because it's like, you actually know how to cook. I'm like, yeah, I do. That's me. I watched a lot of Rachel Way. And I also watched a lot of Food Network when I was young in high school.
Right.
About 3 channels before we get to the main topic was Weather Channel, History Channel, and Food Network.
Gotcha.
And that National Geographic, you can add that in there.
Yeah.
I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch ESPN. I just watch the sports.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But those are the things I used to watch. Okay, so people are gonna ask why the Weather Channel. They had good jazz music. Whenever they do the local 8s, I just listen to that shit and just listen to music. When I was doing homework, I was on there just turning on the volume, like, yo, dude, need some good music, because I didn't have my own laptop at the time. Gotcha. So yeah, I would do that. But when it came to history, I would watch that, and also when it came to the food, after I got to a point of just watching my mom or my grandma cook, I started watching that because I needed to know how to be able to cook something on my own. And the thing is, they were teaching me was some of these ladies don't know how to cook out here, so I'm like,
right.
I ignored that for the wildest time. And then when it finally hit me, when she said came to pass, ladies girl did not know how to cook at all, and it was just and I think it was a good lesson for me to learn because you're gonna want to learn how to cook for yourself, son.
Oh, absolutely.
So much you actually, unlike your sisters and cousins, you're actually learning something.
Yeah.
And it actually helped me. It actually helped me to be a better cook.
Well, absolutely. I've been cooking since 10 years old. I mean, that was just, we used to have back in the day. We used to have in grammar school. We had home economics class. So I remember being in 5th grade. They had full kitchens in the school, and we would learn how to bake, how to make fresh baked bread from scratch, the bins, the sifter. So we had all that stuff then. So those skills I just retained. And then when I got with my dad was a great cook. So he schooled.
That's what's up.
He schooled me and my brother. So we knew how to, So when I got married, I had the cooking thing down. That was, that wasn't something I was saying. Okay, yeah, she needs to know how to cook. It's like, well, I cook for myself. So
yeah, exactly. I cook for myself. Exactly.
Yeah.
I told people, like I said, when I get off work, like, dude, if I cook, if I get home, I'll shower. Then I'm like, what do I have left in here that I can make some of? Or if I still have, what would I have?
Well, that's why I like the foreman grill. Yeah, that's why I like the grill, because again, it's literally a meal, 10 minutes. I got a meal in. A lot of times I may have meats marinating, I may have steak marinating or chicken or something marinating. All I gotta do is just pop it in there and get it done. Steam a bag of veggies or something like that, and you're good. So again, it doesn't take 2-3 hours to make an extensive meal. Like I said, I keep my stuff pretty simple.
Right, and the thing is, like I said, with Rachel Way, I learned how to cook things in 30 minutes, and that takes an hour and 25 minutes to cook something. Right. I ain't gonna lie. And this is a trait I have to still work on because I'm getting a little bit better at it. My impatience when it comes to food, trust me, I have to read a book or something. So it might be a negative because if my wife ever calls me, probably, I don't know, I'm just hypothetical, guys. If I ever had a book, because I like to read a lot, because it takes my mind off of food.
Right.
Because I'm not reading about some character eating something like burgers or some shit, because it's going to piss me off. And I'm like,
right.
Man. I don't want to eat a snack because I'm gay because I just want to eat the actual food.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I like and I don't like snacks because it's like when you're really hungry and you're waiting, the snacks tempt you into eating because it's there, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Right. So one day I walked away. I took a bottle of water. I went outside, and I just this is when I was still with my parents, and I just drank the bottle of water, and I'm like went around the corner to the park, and I just read a book. Like I gotta just wait till food is done. God damn! And when she said that casserole is done, I freaking ran in that house. I hold my hands, and I'm like, yo, I ate like 3 bowls of that shit.
That's it. Yeah.
And I told her, listen, I ain't gonna waste your food. I'm gonna eat it all.
Yeah.
And that be the case, I'll take that shit to work.
There you
go. because I don't like wasting food personally. I don't, especially if I'm the one cooking. Oh no, I mean that. So like things like that. Like you gotta learn how to be able to cook a meal. I would say as quickly as you possibly can, but do it the correct way. Don't rush. Just make sure that if you already know all the steps in your head, it should be like clockwork.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like this glorious like hour and 25. Unless you're making Thanksgiving dinner, then that's the difference. That's gonna take hours.
Exactly.
Like that's the only thing that should take long.
Or you're trying something for the first time. Like me, I may start with the recipe like printed out. So I got all my tools. Like you said earlier, it's like for men, it's therapeutic. It's almost like a project. So it's like just like you got your building tools, you have your cooking tools, and so you're leveling everything out and making sure you're doing it specific. But again, as you get better at it, you stop looking at the notes and whatnot, and then it just becomes natural. So you can measure by hand. Okay, that's with a pinch of this and a pinch of that. You don't have to be so anal about it. When you're putting something together, it just becomes natural. So
right.
Yeah.
Right, it just does. Now, sir, I'm glad we covered the food topic.
Thank
you so much. This is really, really great that we covered that. And also, by the way, guys, I will be grilling something for the first time in 2 months actually, because I've never actually grilled anything actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So because that's one thing I need to master before I get married.
Right.
Because whenever we do barbecue hangouts with the guys, I got to make sure I know all my shit.
Right.
So that's something I'm actually spending time with my father to actually see how he's doing, because I gotta just watch, observe,
exactly.
What temperature to set it on. I always check on it to make sure it's always thoroughly cooked. Because like I said, I've cooked chicken and all that stuff before on the skillet and baked it too.
Right.
But like when it comes to like the actual grill it, I gotta be able to pay attention to that. Like that's gonna be the actual first thing for me. But I want to make sure I master that before I get married. So my lady be like, barbecue ribs. That you don't touch them shits. That's for me to touch.
That's
like that. You can cook something else, but the ribs and the meat, like I got all that.
You got all that.
Exactly. Because that's what my dad did with my mom. He's like, nah. He's gonna be right now. You gotta get. Now this is all me. I don't even know how I'm good. So yeah. But so sir, we'll get to our our most important topic of the night. So,
okay.
First of all, I want to say congratulations on you for being a married man. I really love and respect that a brother's still married and with his ladies and actually had kids and still together. I love that a lot.
Appreciate it.
There's nothing more I respect more than that. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to educate us on the logistics of marriage more often than not. Like, your experience and also the more so the qualifications, I would say, that it takes for you to go through what you go through in order to keep that marriage going.
Okay. I would say, as far as the main attribute I think you need to have overall is simply just a desire to be married and stay married. I think everything else is basically skills. But the mindset that you go into it with, I think that's everything. I know we talked just before the broadcast about this idea of duty. Like a lot of guys don't like to hear the word duty when it comes to marriage. And I was just in when you were thinking about it. I just thought of this. What duty means if you was to use duty as an acronym, discipline, understanding, trust, and yielding. um, that's it for me. The idea that you go into this not necessarily knowing anything. I know when I got married, I'll be honest with you. I got married because I wanted sex, and there's a background behind that. Because I became a Christian. I was in a major auto accident back in '93. Major. A guy died in the accident. I just happened to survive. And after that accident, I made some major life decisions. So one of them was, I got really serious about my faith. And I lived a celibate lifestyle. But I knew that I couldn't remain celibate. I just had too much testosterone in there. So I knew that I needed to get married. And, so I began literally a wife search. Like I just put the word out that, look, I'm serious. I want a wife. And so people would ask me what I was looking for, and I would verbally describe it. But then it got to a point where I stopped describing it. So I just wrote it down. Like all the attributes that I want in what I would want in a wife, and it just kept growing, and it became like a 4-page document. And I just started giving it. Now, mind you, this is around 1995, 1996. So this is before the internet really came pop up.
AOL. Yep.
So, I just literally had copies of it, and I would just circulate to anybody who's like, look, if you know somebody who fits this description or whatever is not going to be put off by what's in there, have them give me a call, have my number on there. Also in the document, I talked a lot about myself, like what I thought I brought to the table or what my foundations were. And at the time, it was just about selection. Like I didn't care if I got 99 no's. I was just looking for the one who could look at the document and say, okay, this guy, look like he's pretty serious about stuff. Let's have a conversation. If anything, I would go on dates, and the document in itself, a lot of times I've been on dates. I don't know if you ever had this where you've been on a date and you're not clicking with somebody, you don't have a connection, you don't have nothing to talk about. The document was an automatic conversation starter because we could always go into the document and talk about something in the document. So it was definitely something that, so when I met my wife, I was at that point where, again, sex was a major driver and wanting to get married. Did I know how to be a husband yet? Not necessarily. I was, pretty established in my my IT career. That was, I had to get back to that because, like I said, I got into the accident a couple years prior. So the first thing was getting my health back to where it needed to be. And then I became, gainfully employed again. And I was, sort of taking care of that. But did I actually know how to be a husband necessarily? Not really. But, when I met my wife, she was definitely very much wanting to be a wife. That was her number one thing, was she wanted to be a wife and she wanted to be a mother. And so our dating went very quickly. You figure we got married after 10 months. I proposed to her after 3 months. And, but even then, that's not where it ends. So a lot of it has to be about you using marriage as an opportunity to grow yourself. So for me, it was about, having that responsibility. Okay, I'm a husband. Okay, what I have to do? I got with some good mentorship, guys who knew about, what it took to be married. A lot of ministries that I sat under, where they talked about that as a man, what your responsibilities were. And it was something that I had to kind of grow into. But the thing I had to separate myself from was I don't think there's necessarily a rule book or a copybook that fits everybody. I know you hear a lot of times in these spaces, as a man, you got to do this, and a woman has to be this or whatever. I think what marriage gives people who are willing to stay with it and give it time is an opportunity to create something that is unique and specific to the individual. It's like with martial arts, the idea is like, you go into a class, you learn certain things. Like a big influencer of mine was Bruce Lee. And he always talked about, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add collectively, what is beneficial as your own. There's certain things that you may hear somebody say something and that may work. And then some other things that you can simply discard. So I think marriage gives you an opportunity to grow into a role. A lot of, the things I'm hearing now is that you got to be that role first before you go into it. But if you're committed, and if you go into it saying, we're not leaving, then you can grow into the role. So marriage, for me, it helped to grow me as a man. Having that responsibility, understanding that I was going to be, a major breadwinner, especially when my kids were born, because my wife, she stayed home the first 6, 7 years. So she was a housewife. You know, the first 3 years was like, you know, fun and games for us when we decided to have a family, and we had our kids back to back. My kids are 22 months apart, so there wasn't like I knew I didn't want to have a 20-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? I was like, we're gonna have these kids. Then I got myself snipped, and I'm like, we're done with the baby making stuff. You know, so we're just gonna have these kids and be done with it. So, you know, so when she's, you know, stayed home, and I knew that, okay, well, I got to be the breadwinner. Then that in of itself, there's just little things that I knew I couldn't do anymore, or it couldn't be about me anymore. You know, I had to be there and do the things that were necessary for my family. Like I said, that idea of duty, again, discipline. I had to be disciplined with how I moved. I had to be, at the same time, I had to be understanding of what she was going through, being home with 3 essentially infants because they were so young. You know, we had to trust each other, and I had to yield. Now, a lot of times people say yield, that means to, just bow down to somebody, but it's really yielding by definition. It says having the trait of adaptability to changes. Like, I knew when we had kids that she wasn't just going to be my wife anymore. I just knew that, just the physical demands of having to nurse those children was something where, again, I had to come to an understanding and be more understanding of where she was coming from. Yeah. With things and answering what she needed versus saying, oh, you ain't there for me that much anymore. And, we don't have sex the way we used to and stuff like that. I had to grow out of those things. Because, again, when I came into it, I had very sort of selfish reasons for wanting to be married. But I knew in order to be a husband, I had to develop a sense of selflessness. I had to develop a sense of being able to understand my family dynamic and meet the need where it was. So you grow into that over time. And likewise, her as a wife. I mean, when she came into it, I mean, she didn't, talk about cook. You hear a lot of times in these spaces, a woman, she needs to know how to cook. My wife didn't know how to cook when we got married. Mm-hmm. But like you said earlier, I've been cooking since I was 10 years old. So I said, look, don't worry about the cooking. I can teach you that. So now it's to the point where, we split a lot of the cooking duties, but she's got some mean dishes. I remember the first time she made mac and cheese for the first time. It didn't go well. And I was a little bit too raw in my opinions, and I told her about it, and she broke down crying. She just busted out crying. Right. She said, "You dissed my macaroni." I mean, she was just, but she didn't quit. Okay. I dissed her macaroni. That was the first thing. She was bawling. She was like, "You dissed my macaroni," and but she kept at it. And now it's like we can't go anywhere without her baked mac and cheese. That's like, my kid, if someone's having a party, whatever, it's like, Dad, you got to bring that back baked mac and cheese over. Mm-hmm. So again, so it's just over time, right. It's trial and error. It's making mistakes, but being forgiving. Again, understanding, trusting, yielding, giving grace so they can pick up and do better next time. We had to learn that over time. And as a result, I think we became better at it. It made us better parents because, the relationship that we have with our kids, again, we understand, but we have a level of understanding to where, now they talk to us every day pretty much. I mean, it's like, my kids are away at school, and it's like every day we get, there's that interaction. Those lines are open. We can understand what they're going through, and they're willing to share whatever it is that's going on with them. So for us, it's been a process. But we didn't come in having our black belts in marriage. We started out with the whites, and we just kind of, we took some falls, we took some stuff, nothing like major, like, oh, I'm leaving, nothing major like that.
It was like small, like I would say, like, not controversial things. It was just more so like the small conventional things.
Yeah.
That like you gotta work on. That's why I said, like, those are things that I talked about behind you in the backstage, where it's like those are things that I would have to improve upon.
Yeah,
like just really to fight and work hard for it.
Yeah, and also settling stuff quickly, because my personality back then. I don't know if you remember or heard this book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus.
Women Are From Venus and Men Are From Mars.
Yeah. So he talked about this idea of being like, men like hide out in their caves, and I was the ultimate cave dweller. Like, I would go in silent mode, I go in stealth mode. If I was ticked off, I wouldn't talk to you for like a week, 2 weeks.
That's
like,
me.
I'm like, you got no conversation, no nothing. Just unless it's essential. If the house is not on fire or something urgent I need to take care of, don't talk to me. And then we had to go through that thawing period. So again, Cold War, go through the thawing period to have a conversation. And another reason why I used to do that too was because I never wanted to engage in an argument hot. Because if I was hot, especially at that time, my biggest fear was saying something that you can't take back. Like people talk about, oh, I forget this or that or whatever, but you know, we can go back to your childhood and you remember what somebody said to you that was disrespectful or whatever that you still remember to this day. And so one thing for sure was like, I never wanted to go into an argument saying something. It's like, oh, I said that. Now I can say like, oh, babe, I didn't mean that. I didn't, it didn't come out right or whatever. It's like, nah, once it's out there, I can't take it back. So my thing was, let me be in my cave for a while. And in my cave, what I'm also doing is I'm playing out now. You got to watch this old school movie called War Games.
War Games?
War Games, 1983 War Games. Okay. At the end of the movie, the computer, not to spoil it, but the computer basically plays out all these scenarios of how they can win this war or whatever. And all of it comes up. It's like, winner, none. Like, like a nuclear war is not winnable. It was the point of the exercise of that scene in the movie. And that's what I was doing also. I would literally play out arguments in my head about what I was going to say. And then I would play out scenarios in my mind about what she was going to say. And then I would argue back how I would respond. If she says this, say that. If she says this, say that. So that was my thing for years. And I just had to slowly just dismantle that. So ending or resolving conflicts early. There's a biblical scripture that says, don't let the sun go down when you're angry with somebody. And so same thing here. It's like, so get stuff out. Don't let stuff linger. An hour may go by or something like that. It's like, all right, look, let's revisit this. Hey, yes, I was upset about this or that or whatever, but this is what's going on. And, hey, let's just end this and resolving disputes more quickly. Again, it took time. It took years to get there, but we finally got there. And so for us, like I said, it's a continual journey, but I can honestly say, that we're at, going into year 26, that we're, as good as it's ever been. And now we're starting to feel some of that empty nest kind of syndrome, like I said, with the kids being out and whatnot. So now we're just, rediscovering just more things we can do with our time, and we like being together. So it's not just this, fit in square, straight path or whatever. We had to learn one another, and we need to learn how to love who the other person was. And when I did that, when both of us did that, again, that helped us with our conflict resolution tremendously. Because again, we didn't harbor stuff around just being stubborn for that length of time.
I mean, stubbornness goes, I think, in both ways for both male and female. Especially in marriage. Like I said, there's gonna be that one argument. Well, not a super argument, I get stupid, but like that they can go from zero to hot bloodness real quick, and the person. And the thing is, you don't want to go on. Like I said, you don't want to start a conversation hard blood, like you said earlier. And I've said before, the best thing is just like, I think let her get her grievances out, as long as she's not being crazy. But just let her get that out, and then after that, I'm like, okay, heard what you had to say. Now let's find a better way of communicating. Okay, because we can't do this if we're gonna be we're married, and we gotta be, and we are a pairing. We are one together. And we have to conduct ourselves in a functionally manner. Right. We can't be, because especially if kids are involved. Yeah. If we're gonna be doing that. Right. Cussing or screaming, none of that. Right. Right. Ever. Because trust me, because I have to be the one that. First of all, it's worse for me because I have to hold myself back the most. Right. Because I don't want to agree with disagreement. Let's talk about it like civilized people. Yeah. Now that's always my go-to. Right. So when you say you and your wife had that, like, I think that's like, I'm thinking that's like what a marriage should have to. Okay, I have to, but what most likely is more likely to happen is that there's going to be, a little uh, clashing of some ideals, or like how something was done but never taken care of. Like I said, it's always going to be those, and I appreciate that you can tell me that and give me some insight because more likely than not, I'm gonna have one of those talks. Like I said, I want nobody to get twisted. I am not gonna be the perfect husband. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I don't think there is a guy to be a perfect husband. I think there is a guy to be a good man. But perfect, I think it's like you're grasping at straws. That's why I say don't go on with that mindset. It's not good. I would never went on with that.
Right.
She went with him because he was military, and also he did what he set out to do.
Yeah.
Take care of her.
Right.
And he married her too. And then she said his proposal.
Right.
But now for me, like what I'm hearing, different people have different quirks, different like niches. And for me, I think because I will be able to tell anybody like who was like my wife can't. My only thing is, like I said, is just like if you communicate badly towards me, that's not good on that's it looks bad on me, but it's more so bad on you because you're the one telling me this, and I heard you, but you told me something that was not truthful. Of what was really bugging you, because like I said, if you have to hide and dodge for me, then you shouldn't be with me. It's just
right.
Because listen, I just want someone that like I tell people, listen, just be straight with me. Don't give me your haikus, your soliloquies, none of that nonsense. Because the minute you do that, you insult my intelligence and you incite my theory.
Right.
This is my wife. That's a little bit more leeway on certain things because I'm not going. Anybody else outside my wife, like they're getting that.
Yeah.
But whereas my lady is just like, okay, just show me what it is. We can fix it together. All right. Now I ain't missed to fix it, but I can fix some things that are in this house.
Right.
So I can give advice to in a situation that's going through. So I'm not above understanding or miscommunication. I'm always like I said, I'm not infallible either. Like I said, I'll know if I did something, and we're gonna sit down and talk.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be civilized and calm. Like I said, it is going to. Yes, it is. Otherwise, this talk will never happen. If we don't get anything done, if we want to progress and be better as a parent and trust each other, then we gotta nip that in the bud right away.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, like, and I think, Mr. Bennet, what you've told me and shown me now with how you've spoken and given me experience, like, it took years of work. And a lot of people don't want to say marriage is work, bro.
Well, actually, now that I would disagree with that to an extent.
Go ahead, bro.
Right. People say marriage is work, or they say marriage is hard. And I don't think either. I don't think it's hard. I think we're hard. We're hard-headed.
Hard-headed. There we go. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So the work, because a lot of times in our marriage, like the decisions that we came to, it was just that it was a decision. It was made like this. Like when we said, "All right, we're gonna do this," it's a decision. Now if there's work involved, is getting this right here to a place where I'm willing to go with the plan or the decision. You know what I mean? This can take years, but if we come in on the same page, we just go. You know, it's like there's a lot of decisions that, you know, my wife would be like, or I may say, look, I'm about to make this plan or whatever. She's like, go ahead. I mean, it's just like we don't spend a lot of time in terms of, you know, if I feel this is a good move for the family, whatever. I mean, she trusts me enough to go, boom, just go ahead with your program. So a lot of times it's easy, and a lot of times I'll ask, you know, married people, if marriage is work, where the work is, or put another way, what is so hard that you wouldn't have to do anyway? Like discipline, you're gonna have to be disciplined anyway. Understanding, you need to be understanding. If you want to be functioning in this world, you need to be understanding. Right? Yes. You talk about cooking earlier. Look, you know, is cooking hard? Because you're gonna have to cook for yourself anyway. You're just cooking for another person. You have to do. We talked about the laundry earlier. Look, you have to do your own laundry anyway. So what extra is being added because you're living with another person? If it's sex involved, now the way, at least the way it should be, what act of sex you don't benefit from? Now, if one of you guys isn't benefiting, that's a problem. That's a communication, that's a medical issue, whatever it is to work that out. Because sex is supposed to be pleasurable, and both parties should be getting something out of it. If you're not doing what you need to be doing, then you need to, humble yourself a little bit and be like, what am I doing wrong, or whatever it is. But you can, like I said, that skill, you can work on that. But there's nothing that I see in marriage that if you do these things that you don't get benefit from, or your kids don't get benefit from. When my wife is right, then I know my kids are going to be right. When I'm right, then I know the family and the household is going to be right. So, so I don't see the work being in the marriage itself. I think marriage is, in a lot of ways, it's a training ground to help you get right as an individual. It's you can go into it, and you can make mistakes that the world may crucify you for. But in marriage, you can work out these things to make things, like I said, to create a better version of yourself. My wife and I were having a conversation just last week. She was talking about how, she's not, or she wasn't the most empathetic person growing up. But since being married and just being around me, now that's a quality that I got from my mother, but she certainly became more empathetic to at least to understand what other people are going through, not just think so much in your own head. That is something that she said she attributes to being married to me. So again, it's a training ground for you to be a better version of yourself. It's an opportunity to serve another person. It's an opportunity for you to humble yourself so that you can be a better person, a better version of yourself when you're operating in the world. So for me, the marriage is not work, but we have to work the things that are the demons that we have that are stopping us in the world. They're going to stop you in the marriage also. So again, fix yourself, and then everything else. If you have two reasonable adults, who desire relationship, you should be able to make that work. So I just don't like to put that energy. It's like, oh, marriage is so hard. I always push back. What is hard about it? And more times than not, it's about you just being stubborn because you don't want to get off your square, or you're so in your, rigidness about a situation that you won't bend or yield or see another point of view to say, hey, you know what? All right, maybe I can bend a little bit on this, or maybe I can understand, or let's try it your way. A lot of times it's like, there've been situations where my wife and I, we being stubborn over something. And when we finally decide that we're going to do it, we're like, we should have did this years ago. Like, why we spent all that time being, defensive about it. But once we did it, it's like, oh, that wasn't as bad as we thought it was, or that we love it because we finally just made the decision to say, go ahead and let's do it. So I think, again, marriage, gives you, or at least it should, in our case, it gave us that opportunity to kind of flesh things out. So now, again, that trust now is being built. And now, so when certain things come wrong, my wife comes with something, or if I come with something, it's like, all right, go ahead and do it, and let's see what happens. We don't have that issue of like not trusting one another to make decisions, because we know that we're working, for the betterment of the family and each other.
Right. And I think the reason why I say it's work, because I saw my parents they worked within themselves in the marriage, worked on themselves within it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why that gets taken out of context, because I had to say it, like when I say it's work, you have to work on yourselves within the marriage, both of you, not just the man and the woman too.
Absolutely.
There's like the miscommunication, work on yourself, like the both of you. And most people just walk away because they don't think the sacrifice is worth the benefit.
Right.
And me, I don't mind going through the hardships. Like, for example, I'm already a guy that I would tell her like things off rip normally about me if I were to get married. Like, I'm still, like, I can't give me this now until I get my grades, things like that. Obviously, I was young, so be careful of that. Also, it would be a matter of we have responsibilities to each other in this marriage. And the thing is, I want us both to uphold those. I will definitely uphold my end.
Yeah.
I don't want us to split over us having a little spat about disagreement over something.
Right.
Especially when it's something really small.
Right.
But those are, I think, what you, like I said, you've inspired me to do that now. To want to be a type of character that can just take on challenges like that.
Right.
And I say it's fun, but it's like something that you kind of have to do to have to navigate in this world, but also navigate to know what type of woman you're looking for, and also you're not just gonna test her; she's gonna test you.
Yeah.
You're about your word, things like that.
Right. And then what's interesting about that also, you talk about those tests. A lot of those things which I thought were tests back in the day, now I'm seeing them as qualities or attributes that are favorable in the time that we're in. Like my wife, she's very laid back. Like, you know, she doesn't take a lot of things like seriously. Where me, I was like the intense guy, like, you know, this has to be done. But now I'm older, and now we're at this stage of life now where it's like her, you know, easygoing nature. Like it really helps us to look at things in a perspective that says, look, you know, this isn't so serious that we need to, you know, totally change up how we relate to one another or whatever. So that's a quality that I've come to value over time. Whereas like early on, I might not have appreciated it as much, especially when I see and hear a lot of the drama that's going on around us and in these spaces and whatnot, you know, couples just acting up or whatever. And I just think to myself, it's like, yeah, nah, she ain't like that. You know, it's like, I don't have to worry about that because she doesn't carry that kind of energy. So a lot of things I might have taken for granted back in the day, I really appreciate now.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of life when I hear like, brothers such as yourself, they say like, you know, the back and forth thing, but also like you just learn to like deal with things a little bit differently when you've been around each other, and also how to compromise and get things done.
Yeah,
you come to an understanding.
Yeah,
which that's why I said I'm not above talking. That's why I had to talk it out.
Right.
There's a disagreement between us, or me and my wife, quote unquote. So that's why. So people, like I said, it's not about you. It's about the marriage. It's about the vows that you took. It's about all of that, and also how much you love the other person too. I'll be honest. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't marry. Simple enough. That's how my. That's how.
It's interesting. Even on that, a major influencer of mine, when I was even thinking about getting married, was because I'm in the IT field, I'm around a lot of Asian Indians. And
I know this one.
So they were doing like one of my guys who happened to be one of the groomsmen in my wedding. I remember one day he came to me and says, "Oh, I'm going to India for a while." I said, "Okay, where you going to see fam?" So I'm getting married. And I was initially I was a little perturbed by that. I said, "Oh, you never told me you had a fiance. You never told me you had a girl or whatever." And he was like, "Oh, I don't know who she is." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? You don't know who she is?" It's like, he had to interview like 2 or 3 girls. Like he kind of knew who he wanted, but there was like 2 or 3 girls that he was still kind of interviewing, prospecting before he made his decision to get married. And that just totally just flipped the whole understanding of what I thought marriage was. And that idea, okay, well, if you got to be in love and, again, everything has to align, the clouds, everything has to be perfect. It's like with them, it's like you get married and you make it work. And I'm not saying that I was like 100% inspired by that, but certainly I thought about it. And I'm thinking really up until like maybe 100, 150 years ago, that's how most marriages worked. You were either arranged or you grew up in that small town and who you went to church with or whatever. And there was just like expectations, especially in the elite wealthy families or whatnot. Like your spouse was kind of picked out for you and you just made that thing work. So this whole like romantic notion of, okay, well, she's got to be the one and she's got to, the bells have to go off and this and that and the third, all those notions, that's really a new wave kind of energy where everything is about how I feel about you is what's important as far as the marriage. And really it's about, again, as you said earlier, the vows that you take to say, look, I'm in this, it's ride or die. I'm dedicated to this, and we going, the love may come, the lovey-dovey's may come later, And I'm not saying that was the case with us, but again, some of that definitely rubbed off in terms of, you know, seeing some of these families and whatnot still married today, and just how they, you know, how they roll. That was definitely a big influence, because it made me think about, well, how does most of the world work? You know, Western world, we always, you know, we got De Beers and we got all these, you know, people talking about what marriage is supposed to be about. But for most of the history of civilization, it's all about making commitments. I mean, some people, you knew who your spouse was going to be from birth, you know, that whole betrothal thing. So, you know, it's not even about so much, you know, being so madly in love, but really, I think what we also have to ask ourselves is, can I love? Can I love in the affirmative and be right by somebody? Or does everybody have to fit every, you know, imagine dream in my mind before I can even think about loving somebody? So I think that has to change also in the individuals, that, you know, say, look, you know, if you think marriage is good for you, or would be good for you, can you at least do you have that desire to be that? Because then as long as you have that desire, then again, you can then shape what that's going to look like in your specific situation. But if you don't have that going in, it's going to be real difficult. That's why, you know, you hear about ladies talking about, I want 6 figures and 6-pack and this, all those sixes and all that kind of stuff.
It's going to buy them happiness.
Yeah, but you're not even saying, what are you bringing to the table? Can you be a wife? Is that something that you could live in that situation? Life. Or if any one of those things changes, are you out? So I think that, you know, really the idea of what you go into it with is more important, and that'll help shape the person that you become later on.
Yeah. The thing is, for that, I believe the person has to be willing to want to make the change and also put in the work. That's definitely. Because I think those are huge factors for a man, specifically. And again, I don't talk about ladies, but we're talking about both in the marriage. But I'm talking about the man.
Yeah, absolutely.
This goes for me. I'm willing to go through all of that if it means we can have a longer lasting marriage, and also that we can understand each other's vibes, quirks, things like this. Right. You know, so there's common knowledge that I would do something like that. Like you know my habits at that point. Mm-hmm. If you only have 2, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But also you should be like, okay, I'm unprepared. Things like that. But I think before we do end it, there's always something that's like telling of someone. Whenever you can tell a relationship about how a couple still holds hands, like elderly couple, things like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty sure they went through this rough patch. It doesn't mean that everything was all perfect. There were some disagreements at one point, but she realized this is the guy for her, and he realized this is the woman he wanted to marry. So it's like that's why they're still holding hands and things like that, at the age of 80 and things like that. Mm-hmm. Which you love to see. But I take marriage very seriously, and the thing is, I won't. And like Mr. Bennet, like you, more often than not, like I said, I do have a lot of talks room, particularly because I work out a lot and I'm doing so much stuff. Yeah. So, and I did say this because I am former Christian, but I do believe this.
I got
you. I will not. I will trust me. I won't have any kids outside of marriage.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right.
For me, no.
Right.
To be married to you first, then we'll have children. Simple.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I believe having it in a marriage unifies our bond.
Yeah.
And it's more respectful in the right way. To me, it's just the right way of doing things.
Absolutely.
And I think with my journey, I think because you know more like I'm not for me because I plan on going back to school for IT and things like that to build.
Okay. Nice.
So that's going to be another field in Japan I can work off of.
Right.
But I think. For me, it's just knowing, like, it messes my mind when I say this. And it's kind of like knowing how you know that you're ready, like, for marriage. When you've done all this work, I think you just have to meet somebody and see how it goes. But even then, that might not be the true factor. I think the true factor is how you carry yourself once you're around her.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else inside of that, but I think that's the one best way to tell you that you're ready. Mm-hmm. And also, of course, I'll ignore that she likes me and all that. I'm talking about me. Like, how do I determine that?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like if you think things are going well, how she acts and responds to you, how you act around her, and how you're showing her like this is what you're all about. You know, there's no mask. This is what you do every day. It's no different than a routine. It's just more so like I guess not lower your voice, but do it through actions. Because actions speak louder than words, and I'm a big advocate of that.
Right.
I'd be like, rather show you than I can tell you. To be honest, and I think that's important for any type of man. Because like I said, before you not even just get married, like make sure you do the work on yourself, and also let you not bring a trauma to that girl either. Make sure that shit is taken care of.
Yeah.
You have a lid on that.
Right.
Me, I might have to go see some for. I might have to see one for something, but it's not like to the point where like I needed one really bad right now.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
make sure that I'm not carrying environment with me in over Japan. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to bring over a positive version of myself. More so a positive, grown-up version of myself.
Right.
I can handle things like this. And what you and your lady have gone through, I'm glad you went through it. That way, you guys got a better understanding of each other, and understood like each other's quirks, and also how to respond to one another, be receptive to it, and it's necessary because, like I said, even like I tell people, listen, even Casanova got his issues.
Yeah. Indeed.
Which one of my favorite old school songs? Hey, Mr. Casanova. Okay, so I guess this will be the last question. Thank you so much for giving me education on this. I wanted to know what your thoughts on that was, and also thank you for answering that, because now I got some more marinating to do, and really hearing what you're saying, and really take that to heart in my mind and really let that think.
Right.
But I guess my last question, like I said, I guess is are you a fan of jazz music, sir?
On occasion, I go into my periods when I may tune in, but I wouldn't call myself a jazz aficionado. We used to have like in East here, used to have like radio stations that would play jazz, 88.7. You had 98.7. 101.9, C 101.9. That was a jazz network that was pretty popular in the New York area. So I can get into it in phases, and I may go away from it. My music tastes are kind of all over the map, actually. I'm an old school hip hop guy, but I only go to hip hop only until about 1992.
Okay.
So it really, for me, I'd say 1995. So you talk about from 1979. So I was there at Sugar Hill Gang, and then Run DMC and Mantronics and all those guys through the UTFO, KRS-One, Boogie Down Productions. So really up until about 1995, when you had sort of Tupac and Biggie starting to get big. And then after that, I kind of, so if you look at my rap collection, so the bell curve is like between 1986 to 1990. That's like the very top of the bell curve. Okay. And then it just starts to siphon off a little bit. So by 95, look, I'll listen to stuff here and there that's new, but a lot of stuff, when I hear it, it seems to be kind of recycled from back in the day. It's like, oh, I remember that beat or whatever. But
the same. And thank you, Mr. Bennet. See, Mr. Bennet is secretly one of my favorites, right? Playing the same, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff that's just being recycled. People just don't know what it is.
Listen, as much as I love my man Biggie and freaking Tupac, like I said, like they did recycle some old soul songs.
Yeah,
I know
a lot of James Brown. Back then everybody was sampling James Brown back then.
James Brown and stuff like that. Yeah. And oh man, what's her name? Because there's one song. I was like looking for it right now, but I ain't gonna. I'll look at it one.
Right.
But I think it's I'm Coming Out, which is one of Biggie's.
Oh yeah. I forget her name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The sound and beat to More Money, More Problem. That's that exact beat. I was like,
yeah.
Hearing that, I'm like, wait, that's her shit. They all treat each other shit.
Yeah. Everything is cycle new again for sure.
Now I will ask you this, like since because I don't want to go first, I'll go last on this. Do you have a favorite old school artist that you like? in old school, like Whispers or
Oh man,
anything like that? Like, because I know everybody knows Glenn Jones and freaking, of course, everybody knows Marvin Gaye, which everybody loves. I love Marvin Gaye too, because I grew up listening to that.
old school artists, man. As far as the favorite, like I said, I can take a song almost from, like I said, from any genre and just add it to the collection. I just make it there. But are there artists? I mean, it would have to be Prince or Michael. You know what I mean? I mean, those were, you know, I mean, in terms of guys who was like, when their stuff came out, I mean, when Purple Rain came out, I thought the world almost ended. I mean, that was just, that Purple Rain, that just changed. I mean, Michael came out with Thriller back in '82, and that took off and everything.
Yeah.
And then Prince came out with Purple Rain, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's over. It's like, you know, who's gonna top this? So if I had to say, you know, in terms of artists, I would probably have to say those two on the female side. I love Anita Baker, but
Anita Baker, okay, that's one.
Yeah, but one of my favorites, again, she don't get enough dap. She probably had one of the greatest vocal performances of all time. The sister named Angela Winbush, and she came out with this song called "Angel," and she takes you from like the cellar to the heavens and then back down into the stratosphere. It's one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. And so again, very underrated in terms of her vocal talent and ability.
Yeah, I've listened to her.
Yeah, okay. But she was definitely one of those underrated stars that should have been a lot bigger than she was. She could have been Whitney. She could have even been Anita. She could have been on that level, but she never quite got to that status. But I love her music. But her, Anita, Whitney, Whitney was good. When she came out, but I would still prefer Anita. I would take Anita over, Patti LaBelle. I know that she started a little bit before my time, but she did stuff in the '80s and whatnot. But I would definitely put probably Anita as far as songstress. She'd probably be number one. Angela Winbush, talent-wise, I think she's better than all of them. But again, she didn't have the record and the chart success that those other ones did. But if you just listen to Angel, man, that's as good as it gets, in my opinion.
I got you, brother. So for me, it's just Whitney is always my favorite. I grew up with her because I'm a 91 kid. So like I said,
she's from Jersey, from Newark. So.
Yeah, exactly. So. And that was the only. I think she was like probably the best. Like I said, I know there are talents before. I mean, not before before she came, they were really good. But I think there was maybe like two on the old school that was probably of that tier. I don't think there was that many, but I think there were two. Like the one you named.
Yeah.
I listened to a couple of her stuff. Her stuff was pretty good too. I'm still missing two songs I haven't listened to from her. I have to go back and look at those.
Right.
But Karen White was one of them. I love Karen White.
Okay.
Easy.
They're definitely 90s.
Listen to them and like, oh, God, some good songs. I can listen to them. And that sister look good as hell. I was like,
right, yeah.
Yo, man, put me back in that time, man. But because trust me, Brother Von Brian already knows. Like when I saw Karen White's picture, I was like, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And she can sing. I mean, sing me to sleep.
Right.
But so Karen White. I mean, because I go for the ladies first. I'll say Karen White. I'll throw in the lady you threw in. I'll say Whitney Houston. That was another one. And I do like Alicia Keys, and I do like
yeah, Alicia's talented. Yeah,
Alicia, I love Alicia. I've always loved Alicia because she can play piano. I've always loved that about her.
Right.
And I've always liked Mary J. Blige too, because I think those are like probably the legends more.
Right.
No one can reach the top five. Like
yeah.
I just thought Whitney was like the greatest fucking voice I ever fucking heard. Like her vocals was like beyond.
She can bang for sure.
Like she could sing, and I've listened to all her shit. I actually have all her on my freaking iPad.
Right.
Now when it comes to when it comes to the dudes, and I'll get to the rap soon. Okay, so I love Glenn Jones. Father MC is really good. I mess with that. Bobby Brown. I like Bobby Brown. I don't care what one says, man. That Ghostbuster song still hit to this day.
Oh, okay.
That's my jam.
Okay.
I love that. That's one of my favorites. I love that. Okay, so Bobby. I'm not forgetting somebody. And he, Howard Hewitt.
Okay. Yep. That's old. That's definitely old school. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. What's my man name? Nate Cole? Nat Cole?
Nat King Cole?
Nat King Cole. That's his name.
That's really old school. That's your grandparents' generation.
My grandparents' generation, but I listen to a lot of old
stuff.
Once I got 21 and older, I might want to go back and listen to even further things. I'm like, okay, he's pretty good. Pretty good. Brother had a voice. That Unforgivable song, I love that song. It's a good song.
yeah.
God, there's a lot more, but I'm talking about in terms of like guys who are just vocal singers. Okay, so groups, Mint Condition. I love Mint Condition.
Yep.
Mint Condition, Troop.
Yep.
I almost lost them. I said New Edition, right? I did say
no. You didn't see New Edition. Okay.
Okay, yeah, New Edition.
You said Mint Condition, not New Edition.
Okay. And then I said Troop. And I said okay, the New Edition. Yeah, they're really good. There was another one called Surface. There was a group called Surface. I'm not mistaken.
Surface. Yeah. That was Luther Vandross's. I thought that was Luther Vandross's band before he went solo. I think they were called Surface. If I'm not misunderstood.
And then that's where I got. Then that's where I started.
Right. Yeah, he was lead singer for that group for a while. That song called "Searching." If you ever look up "Searching" that was Luther singing leads on that.
Okay, that was him. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, and also I'm on the phone with Tony because It Never Rains in California is a good listen, my man. That's one
right.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. I know I got more Whispers. I love Whispers. Whispers is a great.
So you got the Philly songs. You got the Whispers. You got Delphonics. You got some of those old Philly acts. So I'll definitely get in that vibe. It's funny because I'm in Central Jersey, so we go down the Turnpike towards Philly. Then you get all the Philly stations, and they playing all that Philly soul. So absolutely, a lot of those bands from back in the day. If I was to rank, actually, you didn't ask me about singers. If you talk about like male lead singers, honestly, Rick James.
Rick James, that was another one.
Now, again, a lot of people may say that because they only know Rick from Super Freak. But the brother had bars. If you listen to Ebony Eyes that he did with Smokey Robinson, the brother can sing. The brother absolutely has bars, but he went commercial and whatnot with that. But him, honestly, Boy George. Again, take away the look and everything, and just listen. The guy can sing, just straight up. I mean, he was and honestly, Luther. For us, we always say the fat Luther. The heavyweight. The heavyweight Luther, when he lost all that weight, he might have lost a few bars there, but he was good. Like I said, and I loved him when he was with actually his group I think was called Change. It wasn't Surface, I think it was called Change. That was the group that he was in. But Luther was definitely in the mix. So yeah, those are probably like my favorite in terms of the male, in terms of croon. These come crooners. The crooner category was definitely that. And as far as the male bands, I mean, obviously, Jackson 5, back in the day, especially when they became the Jacksons on the Victory Tour and whatnot, they were certainly up there. Boys to Men, obviously, they definitely brought some of that old school back.
I still gotta say, brother, Angela right here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
She I mean, talent. Like, I don't know what happened, why, companies didn't just want to swoop her up or whatever, but I mean, the sister just had talent that was just ridiculous, and her vocal range was like nothing like I ever heard of before. So she was really good. But like I said, I'm all over the place with music. It literally, I go every day, and it depends on what mood that I'm in. And I just get into why I just play. That's why I never have like a single playlist. Like, I'll literally take songs from 10 different genres and just put them in there, and I just play it all. So I never just get some one track with that.
Yeah, because like I have a whole list. Like you just saw, like I have like all old school, and then I have like jazz, and then I have like blues. But I'll have like a whole playlist. I can listen to that whole thing throughout my entire route for my job, and it's just like it helps get things done because like I know which ones I put up. What's up, Jay Bones? How you doing? And because nobody will know this, guys. My whole family is majority either like military, police, or freaking musicians. That's what my family comes from. That's why I have such an attuned love for.
Oh, hopefully we didn't lose you. Jay, I think you froze up a little bit. You want to come back when you get a chance? I'll stay right here. Yeah, just gonna wait for Brother Jay to I guess to come back in, but again, it certainly is a privilege for me to be on tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about my background, and so hopefully it's beneficial to people, and certainly looking forward to sharing more in the future. But again, thank you for having me on. Just if this is going to be the closeout, then you can find me. Usually, I'm on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, so you'll see me on the Tuesday Talk That Talk Tuesdays. I usually chime in on the sports show on one-on-one sports on Wednesdays, and the barbershop on Fridays. You typically find me there. I'm also on Instagram. Paul T. Bennet is my Instagram handle, where I share a lot, especially concerning fitness or being fit over 50 years old. And also never talked about it much, but I also do have a YouTube channel. It's Dungeon Fitness 1969, where I do a lot of product reviews and different exercise methodology. So maybe looking to blow that up this year and do some things with that. So hopefully we can do some positive things with it. But it's just being in this. I've been in this YouTube space for a little over a year, and so just seeing the different content that's there. Trying to see which niche I can serve and not be redundant, because obviously there's a lot of players in this space. But again, thank you, Jay. Hopefully, if you are able to join, but if not, again, it's been a privilege to share with everybody tonight. And again, hopefully this is useful. If I had one takeaway, since we were talking about marriage earlier, one thing that my wife and I changed is that we take this 1 year at a time. So I never say that I've been married 25 years. I say that I'm in my 26th year of marriage. So, compared to a sports team where you have one, every season is different. You might win the Super Bowl 1 year, but then, you don't make the playoffs the next year. That's how it goes. So every season has its own twists and challenges to it. Family dynamics change, again, with my kids getting older now. So, we're going to another phase of our lives. And so we're always looking to see what the next chapter of our lives is going to be like. But the good thing for us is that, we're committed to doing it together. And so, take these marriages as seasons 1 year at a time and just make it the best season you possibly can. But again, I thank you to Jay for, having me on tonight. And if you're still going to be on, I'll stick in the background, or you just message me and I can come back. But again, it's been my pleasure to be here tonight. So thank you for the opportunity. And for everyone, take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.